everybody, it's the Lawn Gnome. I'm glad you're here for another video over here on my channel, but I'm even more excited about the fact that I'm doing another collaboration with some good friends. I've got Kami here, and I've got Gina. I did not anticipate Gina being here, but when I told her about what we were going to be doing here, particularly me and Kami, she was like, oh, hell yeah, I want to join you. So, Gina, I just want to say to you personally, I'm so glad you're here, and so is Kami. We're so glad to have another discussion with you.
I'm excited.
Yeah, even though The Old, the New, and the Awesome is officially canceled, I had a feeling that you were going to come back sooner than you thought. So, here we are.
And I have a video up.
I know. I'm really excited about that. I really am. But anyway, everybody, why are we here today? Well, I'm going to say it's Kami's fault, because whenever a great collaboration with Kami shows up on my own personal channel outside of That's Comical, it's always Kami's fault. But that's because of the fact that Kami has the gift of gab, and she just loves to talk about stuff that are things about pop culture, and we cannot blame her for that. So this is sort of an unofficial sequel to a video that Kami and I and another fellow YouTuber, Jordan, did a couple of weeks ago, discussing the 25th anniversary of Funko and our attitudes towards Funko. But Kami reached out to me about a day or two later saying to me, Steven, this conversation is not over, and we need to go a little bit deeper into some of the serious stuff that's going on at the company. So I was just like, you know what, Kami? I know how much we love to talk about this stuff. Let's just do it. Let's not worry about it. So welcome to Funko Discussion 2, Electric Boogaloo. And we're going to basically begin with my personal thoughts. And that is, I don't really know what to think about Funko these days. I mean, when I press the record button and I do my Funko pop updates, considering the fact that I have over 100 episodes now, that's crazy, because it just shows me how long I've been collecting this stuff. But I'm not really sure about my overall feelings towards the company and towards the product these days, merely because of the fact that there was just so much negative news about the company, especially right around the time that we got into 2023 at the start of the new year. And now I'm not really hearing much at all. It's like we have Funko dealing with serious radio silence. Every now and again, I'll see something on their Twitter feed, but things definitely have lost their structure. That's what I'm noticing. So I would just really like to know from the both of you, particularly, obviously, Kami, because she has such a passion for Funko, I think a bigger passion than me. I really believe it. So, Kami, you're the Funko stockholder. You're definitely more enthusiastic about Funko than I am. So,
well, my mom just told me invest in what you love, because that makes sense. So that's why I'm a Funko stockholder.
Yeah,
but
I know.
I don't know if I have a bigger passion of it than you. I just, when I love something, I go all in, go big or go home. That's my motto, all the time. So, I think that you've been collecting longer than I have, but when I start something, I don't have an off switch. And
Same.
When the pandemic happened, I had no outlet other than online shopping. And I think that was kind of where Funko went wrong. And we'll get into that. Funko had a great pandemic season because everybody was at home, everybody was bored, there was some great lines coming out. And so I think that's kind of where Funko got a little bit confused, because once we started getting back to normal and going back to work and, doing our regular droll drum days, Funko had an excess of inventory that they just didn't quite know what to do with, because people weren't buying it at the same quantities and speed that they were during 2020, 2021. I think 21 is probably Funko's best year since the actual little pops behind us, the actual pops figures started coming out, and that happened around 2012, I think, was the first line of them, first wave.
2011. 2011.
2011. Okay, I wasn't quite sure. I wasn't going to speak to that because you, like I said, you've been collecting them way before. I didn't start until 2017. But
yeah,
like I said,
Yeah, I started.
20.
I probably started in like 2016, 2017 as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely the one who's been collecting the longest. I bought my very first Funko Pop in November of 2013.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
that's why I was. Yeah, and that's why I was fortunate to pick up some of the pops that I did. You know, like I still love the fact that I'm able to actually tell people I have the very first Steamboat Willie Pop from 2012. Nice. I have the original Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean Disney Series 5, and you know all these other early lines that have stuff. But at the same time, I still get a little upset that there are still some that I didn't get when they first came out, because that was the point where I first saw Funko Pops and I was like, what is this stuff? I don't really care for it. And that's why I think the one pop that I regret the fact that I don't have is I believe it or not, from the NBA line. I don't have Carmelo Anthony as a New York Knick, because there aren't many New York Knicks basketball pops. Like there are 50 billion and a half LeBron Jameses, and I'm really upset with the fact that they have. It upsets me because, you know, I'm not going to do this. That's not why we're here. I'll rant later. Kami, please finish.
But it is though. No, but that is why we're here, and I think that again is also another thing that I have to argue about with Funko people, is that if you're a true Funko fan, you're angry at the fact that there are 9,000 LeBron James along with 10,000 Yodas. You know, I mean, it's not that. Well, I'm not a LeBron James fan, but it's not that people don't love LeBron. It's not that people don't love Yoda, baby Yoda, all the Yodas, all the green, all the happy. But the thing is, and I said this, you know, back in 2019 with Pennywise, how many different styles can you make of the same damn character? What I appreciated with Funko when they first started out is there was some originality to them. There was a pacing with them. You know, we were collecting series, you know, Disney for one. We were collecting to kind of complete some things, you know, but now it's like, what are we collecting? And I'll have to pull it back, and we'll get into some of the new lines, because Funko does this where they really piss me the hell off, and then they come out with something like Indiana Jones. It's like, holy shit, I've been waiting for this my whole life.
Yep. I agree with you on that.
I honestly think that's why I stopped collecting this, because there's so many. And like being a completionist, like I have most of the original like first line Harry Potter ones, but then there's so many and so rapid fast. I'm like, I don't have the space or the money for this anymore. Like I can't. The completionist in me wants to buy them all, but it's not physically possible. That's
what I started to notice with the Harry Potter, because I didn't realize they were releasing it per movie. I was just like, oh, this is a cute figure of Harry, this is a cute figure of Hermione, you know. And then I was like, oh shit, they're gonna release every single movie, you know, which is great for like the professors and stuff. But that's what I ended up doing. I ended up scaling back and said, I'm just gonna keep the original 7, and then I will get some random movie moments, and then I will get the professors as they come out, and then I had to just purge, you know, the rest of them. I don't have the space for 17 Hedgewigs, you know. I mean, it's a choice you have to make as a collector. You're absolutely right, Gina. I too am a completionist. And then kind of piggybacking earlier off of what Steve said, you know, the fear of missing out. I have huge FOMO, because for a while Funko was doing collecting right, where they were feeding into the understanding of what it is to be a collector. Make a product, make so many of that mold, and then once it's gone, it's gone. Then you have to buy it from a second or third party seller. You have to buy it from, you know, eBay or Mercari or something like that. But then they got stupid on us, and then they started re-releasing things, which took the value of what we worked so hard to go out and find on the OG market. And that pissed me off as a collector, because Funko has been around since 1998. They've been in business for 25 years. They understand what it is to be a collector, because the pioneers of the guys who started Funko are collectors themselves. So it's not like they don't understand the value of a toy. So why would you do this to us? Why would you create something only to suck the value out 5 or 10 years down the road because, oh, somebody missed out? You know what? Okay, so now we're giving out Funko Pops like we're giving out participation ribbons. It's bullshit. You have to have the collector in mind when you create these things. If you miss out, too bad. Sorry about your luck. You're going to have to buy it on the aftermarket, and it is going to cost you out the wazoo. I've made that mistake a couple of times, but I understood as a collector, that's what I put myself in that position.
Yep.
So that was my first issue with Funko. But I'm sure going to get into what's happening in the right now. But you know, in terms of business, I just don't think Brian Mariotti has what it takes to run this company. I just think he makes some really off the cuff decisions. And it looked like Mike Becker came back with a stronghold during the pandemic. And I think it really helped catapult the success that they had in late all of 21. But Mike Becker is tired. I mean, you can see it in his eyes, you know, he's not cut out for this anymore.
I mean,
and
I have to say, well, I have to say to you, Kami, I disagree with one thing that you said, and that was what you said about Brian Mariotti. I think he knew what he was doing with Funko once. And that was when Funko Pops were first created, because he was really dipping into various fandoms. And I heard everything that the both of you said, and that's why I wanted to go a little bit more deeper into my collecting style, which I haven't really done much, even when we've had these group discussions. But Kami, you have had these discussions with me personally. When I saw what Funko Pops were becoming as early as I did, because I remember when Brian Mariotti saw that Funko Pops were taking off and the fact that more people outside of just men were buying the product, like women were buying the product, children were buying the product. So that was when he suddenly realized, well, now I really want to dip my toe in. And he says, I hope that by 2025, there will probably be a Funko Pop in every single house, because there's going to be something from at least almost from every franchise that everybody loves. So when I saw that Back to the Future was getting Pops, that's what got me on the train. And around the same time, that was when I saw like the Jay and Silent Bob Funko Pop and the Big Lebowski Funko Pops. And then they were just announcing the Quentin Tarantino films like Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill. So I was like, okay, now I'm starting to get into these things. And this is me forgetting about the fact that the original Donald and Goofy freaked me the fuck out because they were so creepy. But that was when I realized that this is something serious. But that was when I also realized I got to play this safe. Because when people come into my house and they see my collection and they see that I have about 425 plus Funko Pops right now, and they say, you're crazy, I'm like, you also have to take into consideration that this is a collection that has taken me 10 years to build. And that's because of how careful I was. I wanted to make sure that the giant lines, like let's take a look at the 3 lines that I knew that if I was going to buy them all or be a completionist with that attitude, I was going to literally be in the poorhouse taking baths with rainwater. We're talking Game of Thrones, we're talking Harry Potter, and we're talking Star Wars. I knew that I had to be extremely, extremely selective with them. So I have my Harry Potter and my Game of Thrones Pops literally on the tops of these shelves. I have no more, possibly maybe somewhere between 10 and 15 of each. Because with Harry Potter, I was like, I'm going to collect the Quidditch kids. So I have my 4 Funko Pops of Harry, Ginny, Draco, and Ron Quidditch. I got the Hogwarts Express. That was like the big thing so I could have the golden trio. And then there were the professors. So I also said that if I'm not going to get a major amount of a collection, then I'm going to at least go for the exclusives. So like when I did not think about what was going to happen with another big line, Dragon Ball Z, I was like, let me at least get the Hot Topic exclusive black-haired Goku. So I got it. And even my Dragon Ball collection is not that big either. There's only about maybe 10. But now they announced that 5 of my favorite characters might be becoming Funko Pops, and I'm just praying that it's a 5-pack, and that's the Ginyu Force. I want that because they're my favorite villains. But I don't have all the characters. I don't want all the characters. I don't connect with all the characters. Game of Thrones, you know, I have all 3 of the pop rides of the dragons. So that's like I have the ones that I know I'm going to truly appreciate. And the funny thing about my Game of Thrones line is that almost all of them are convention exclusives. That's the coolest thing. But there's also other things like I don't need all the Simpsons stuff. I don't need every Disney character. My Disney collection is pretty big, but it's not as big as a lot of other people. I mean, it'll never be as big as yours, Kami, considering how many Alice in Wonderland pops you have. But
oh yeah, everything behind me that you see right now is all Disney, and that's not even all my collection. I have about 7 or 8 boxes that I still haven't unpacked because since I moved into this room, I can't get the right shelves for it. They're on back order. So yeah, that's just Disney. That's not counting my rock pops. That, you know, the music line. That's not counting my horror line. Oh my god, my horror line is just as big as this. Miscellaneous movies, I had to kind of scale back on that because I figured if I continued to get movie moments at the alarming rate they were coming out, I was going to be overwhelmed. I also didn't buy into any of the pop albums. I mean, I love them. I think they're fantastic, but they're freaking huge. And then now they're on to those like humongous, like $50
those
sets,
double,
you know?
yeah, the double wides. I don't care for the double wides. Yeah. I only have 2 pop albums, and the only
I only have 2.
And again, like the ones that I see, like I just saw the one that they announced the other day, and I love the fact that they're making like Michael Jackson's Bad album. I love that. I really do, but I don't need it. I got the Power Slave Iron Maiden album just because the pop is so different and so unique, and then I got She's So Unusual, the Cyndi Lauper album, because I fucking love Cyndi Lauper, end of story. But also my music collection is also not that big. I'm looking at it right now. I mean, believe it or not, my most valuable pop is in my Pop Rocks, and that is the long since retired Barnes & Noble 4-pack of the Beatles' Yellow Submarine with the picture book, which I got back in 2014, 2015. But I had to get, you know, the 3-pack of Rush when they remastered the Kiss Pops, because I saw the original Kiss Pops and they were god awful. And I'm a big fan of that band. When they made the remasters, I was like, nah, these are the ones that I want. But it's also really funny because some of the things I like about the Rocks line is that they play it very, very smart. Perfect example. I'm a big Metallica fan. Not so much of their new stuff, but I love their old stuff. They made the entire band. I know that. But they also made Lady Justice from And Justice for All. That's the pop I bought. That's the only Metallica pop I have because it's gorgeous and it envelops Metallica's 1980s legacy. I had to get Eddie Van Halen, though I am still hoping that there will be a David Lee Roth where he's like jumping with his legs like completely vertical, completely horizontal. That's just an iconic pose. But I got Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. I got Freddie Mercury in that yellow coat from Wembley Stadium. I got the 3-pack of Rush. I got the 3-pack of Blink-182 from What's My Age Again.
I wanted that one. I never bought it, though.
Oh, God. You see, the funny thing was, a couple months later, then they actually made another 3-pack of them actually, not with their instruments, but their you know what, they're fogged out. It's clever. It's clever.
I was going to buy it, and I just didn't.
Yeah, and I got
the only music ones I have are the only music ones I have are the 2 Linkin Park ones that I just recently bought, and those, other than I found Belle sitting reading a book, and I bought that one recently. Those the most recent pops I bought.
But you know, there are other rock stars and music icons, and if they ever made them, I mean, but you know something. I also know when to just say, you know something, I'm a fan of this, but I just don't like the way this pop looks.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bands of all time is Green Day, and I don't like the pops.
I lied. I also have Ed Sheeran. He's with my Harry Potter pops.
If they made like a pop album of Green Day with like a scene from Dookie or a scene from Insomniac, I would consider getting that. I mean, I would love Mick Jagger. I would love a Pete Townsend doing the windmill from The Who, because that's just iconic. Heck, if they even just made Dark Side of the Moon and a pop prism, I'd buy it, because it's Pink Floyd. And one of my favorite bands of all time still doesn't have a pop, and that's Smashing Pumpkins. I would love a Billy Corgan. I really, really would. But I'm very selective, except for certain lines. Like, even like when I know that the line is small and I can complete it, I'll complete it. Like, one of my proudest collections that I have is the 1966 Batman. Along with that, one that I do not speak of that much, I had the complete Firefly set.
Nice.
When it first came out. And yeah, and that also leads to another issue that I have with Funko personally, and that is, when you start a line, why won't you finish it? Because Firefly is a prime example.
I think it's licensing. And that's not their fault. We can't hold them accountable for that. I mean, and they could, sit on it for a while and then lose the licensing, and then they lose the option to make more. But I mean, all of the things that you guys were just talking about, that is another issue with Funko, though. It's like, how much is too much? I mean, I would love to see everything idolized in a pop at some point, sure, but how much can you realistically purchase? I mean, you have to really be mindful of how much money you're investing, how much space you actually have. I mean, I know there's amazing people that have these collections that they just put throughout their entire home, or they have an entire basement or an entire attic that they dedicate to these collections. And that's so cool. I wish I had the space to do that, but the average person does not have that kind of space. And so you kind of have to just get to a point where you ask yourself, okay, when is it a good stopping point, And unfortunately, I made the mistake of getting into some lines that are probably not going to end anytime soon. Disney being one of those lines, but I have to scale back now, and I have to ask myself, do I need every single Disney movie ever made? No, but do I want some of the canon classics? Yes, and that's what I need to focus on. So that's what I'm doing. I'm focusing now on the things that I just can't live without. Same thing with horror pops. I love horror movies, but that doesn't mean I need to have every single horror pop that ever came out. You have to get to a point where you have to, as a collector, also speak back to the company and say, look, this is great. This is a great idea, but we don't need all of this. And I think that comes in the form of all of these characters that they're making in 17, 18, 20 different molds, and a perfect example of that is Yoda. A part of that $36 million garbage dump was Baby Yoda. What did that tell you?
Dump,
people are not buying what you think they want.
Yes.
I love Baby Yoda. This is the only Baby Yoda pop I have, and my mom bought it for me because I couldn't figure out which one I wanted, because I'm like, if I buy one, I'm going to want more, because I wanted one, but I couldn't figure out which one I wanted. And my mom's coworker bought this one because she thought it was cute, him holding the little coffee cup. And my mom was like, okay, that is pretty cute. I got to get that for Gina. And
honestly,
so that is the only one I have.
Honestly, when it comes to Baby Yoda, aka Grogu, I think that the best Funko Pop that they ever made was the Funko Thanksgiving Day balloon handlers, and Grogu.
That one's pretty cool.
I just loved the idea. I thought that was really great, cute. But I was never going to get it in my life. I actually do have a Yoda Pop. I got the Clone Wars version of Yoda, and the only reason why I have it is because I got it for free. There was a really great deal at one of the retail stores that I went to, so I was like, let me just get 2 pops that I want, but I just never wanted to spend money on. That's basically it. I mean, the one line that I'm really surprised that they literally stopped making was Batman the Animated Series. I know for a solid fact they had that license, but I think that's also one of the strongest strategies that Funko ever had throughout their career in regards to making Funko Pops, and that is keeping their fans of certain lines hanging on the chain, because they're like saying, are they going to continue this line? Are they going to make it? Again, I'll reference back to the 1966 Batman line. Like, I remember when the first 4 came out, it was Adam West as Batman, Burt Ward's Robin, Cesar Romero as the Joker, and Julie Newmar's Catwoman. I knew for a solid fact that that has such a fan base, considering how many Pop Ride 1966 Batmobile variants they made. And then when they made the Batman and the Joker in swimming trunks with surfboards, I'm like saying to myself, I know they're going to make these other villains. I know that Riddler, Penguin, and Batgirl are coming. It's just a matter of when. And when they finally came out, I got so excited. And so did the rest of the people that were out there collecting them. But I just never understood why Batman the Animated Series ended with Wave 2, because everyone who loves Batman the Animated Series was buying them. I mean, there were specials that were coming out here and there. Like I remember when they made the Dr. Harleen Quinzel at Pop in the Box, but I didn't want that one. There were still some animated classic villains I was waiting for. So when LA Comic-Con had that Two-Face, I of course had to grab it. So I was so glad that they finally made it, but I'm still waiting for some other characters, and I'm still waiting for them to open up in regards to all the other DC animated stuff. But at the same time, I'm sort of grateful because I have no space for a Superman line or a Justice League line or anything like that. So to a certain degree, I'm happy, but to a certain degree, I'm still upset. However, the comic covers are keeping me at bay from lashing out.
Well, that's kind of like comic covers are sucking me in like a fool.
Well, I'm still very selective about those too. I mean, did you actually notice, Kami, that at this point there are 4 Wolverine comic covers now? 4 of them.
Yeah.
And I was excited when they announced the Target Con exclusive of the 1980s first solo miniseries of Wolverine with him unmasked and just like showing his claws in front of his face. That's based on Frank Miller. So I'm not just buying it for the sake of the comic cover. I'm buying it because it's Frank Miller's art. But just the other day, they announced a PX Previews exclusive of Jim Lee's artistry of X-Men #1, and it's Wolverine again. And I'm looking at the pop and I'm like, this is not doing justice to Jim Lee's art. It doesn't look good. When they did the Batman issue 423, which is the Entertainment Earth exclusive, which captures Todd McFarlane's artwork of Batman, that spoke to me. That one I wanted. So that was a great one. And there's a couple of other ones that they have that I really like. I love when they made the All-American Comics Golden Age Green Lantern. I had to get that one because that is a true vintage piece of DC history, which is why I am praying there's going to be a Golden Age Flash somewhere down the line, because I would love that one too. But again, I'm playing it smart because those are $19.99 each. So it's got to be something that really, really speaks to me. So that's basically it. I mean, it's got to speak to me. If it doesn't, I want to make sure that when I buy a Funko Pop, that I am never, ever, ever going to walk away with buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
Never. I mean, unfortunately, I'm in a world right now where I'm basically saying to my wife, I have to sell all my Funko Pops right now because inflation is killing me. But she keeps saying, if you sell your Funko Pops, you are going to be miserable for the rest of your life. And look, money is important. Putting food on the table is important for the family, but she's right. I would hate the fact that I had to get rid of all these things that do, in fact, make me happy. I mean, I will say if there's one thing that I have never, ever gotten tired of is when a Funko Pop comes in the mail. I'm always excited when a Funko Pop comes in the mail. I'm like a kid at Christmas, even though I never celebrated Christmas in my life because that is not my faith. But I'm just excited to open up the box and rip the bubble wrap off and see the pop, take it out of the box once, admire it in all its glory, and put it back in the box and as Jason David Frank said, and put it on the shelf. That makes me happy.
See, I only have 2 that are still in the box, and those are my 2 pop albums because they're huge and they look good in the box.
They do look good, even though you can take them out of the box and put them on the wall.
Yeah, which I took.
I can't take them out of the box. Same thing with the comic covers.
I took one of them out of the box and then I accidentally ripped the corner. And I was like, no, I want to put you back in the box. It looks so good in the box.
It really does. I mean, that's another reason why I think that Funko Pops are some of the smartest products, even Funko sodas, because the boxes and the cans are perfect for collecting because it's so easy to store them. And again, as someone who moved from an apartment to a house and had a decent sized Funko Pop collection when he was moving, just putting all the boxes into a bigger box, just easily stacking them as easy as playing a Tetris game, they were the easiest things to pack and unpack. And that's why I love the fact that just because I'm an in-box collector doesn't mean I'm not willing to take one out of the box and admire it from time to time. I mean, I'm not going to say that all of my boxes are in perfect condition, but again, I'm not intending to sell them. I really am not.
I'm very particular about my boxes, but I have kind of weaned off of perfection because, you know, there are certain pops that if I want them secondhand, I've got to take some flaws. But one thing that I will say that has kind of had me tweaked within the last couple of years with Funko is the quality of their paint has declined drastically.
Yeah.
And a lot of that does stem from the fact that, you know, part of the problem that Funko is currently having, which is getting people to create and make these things for them because not a lot of people are going back to work full time. You know, there's still places that are shut down and areas that were producing pops for Funko that are not right now. And those that are creating aren't always the best quality. You know, I used to pride myself in taking out a pop and admiring it and looking at all the details. Now I'm finding flaw after flaw after flaw. And I used to return Funkos because of the condition of the box. Now I'm returning Funkos for the condition of the pop itself. You know, I have to actually get my hands physically on them and say, okay, this one's better, you know, or whatever. I mean, sometimes that does require me as a collector paying more for a pop because I'm going into like a comic book shop to buy it versus say Entertainment Earth. And what the hell happened to Entertainment Earth? They used to be the #1 distributor of Funko Pops, and now it's like you're on a waiting list forever with them. And I've been a customer for decades, and it seems like I get them faster from Hot Topic, Box Lunch, you know, all of these other places. And I'm constantly waiting for Entertainment Earth. Granted, they still have the mint box guarantee, and you can't beat that, and they do come impeccable every single time. But it's frustrating as a collector. There's a lot of decline in the product, and you kind of, as a investor, you have to step back and say, okay, what happened? What's changed to the point where do I really want to invest at the same capacity and the same volume that I was before? Probably not. And that does require you to kind of consider, do I want this line? Can I live without it? And if you kind of question yourself for a while, you can talk yourself out of things. Now, will you have FOMO down the road? Maybe, you know, and then you'll end up paying more for it. But a lot of the times when I've said no to something, I don't regret it.
Well, that's like 3 things that we definitely need to bring to the table, because we definitely are going to go off on a lot of tangents and rambles, but that just shows you guys the passion that we have for Funko. But you know, the 3 things that I want to really talk about, and Entertainment Earth was actually one of them, because one of the things that I'm actually noticing these days is absolutely right. That you said, Kami, the delays in them actually receiving the product. I find myself canceling a ton of my pre-orders from Entertainment Earth because I'm finding them on Amazon quicker, or I'm finding them in retail quicker. A perfect example would be the Cyndi Lauper album. Like, I pre-ordered it, and it was just getting pushed back, and then one day I just see it at a Hot Topic, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to buy it now, and I'm going to cancel my order. The same thing happened with my 2 Funko Pops that I just got from the Flash movie. I got the Supergirl, and I got the Michael Keaton Batman. Never thought that I was ever going to have a Michael Keaton Batman in my collection because, fun fact, I don't like the Tim Burton movies, and I don't like the Richard Donner Superman movie either. So the fact that I actually have a Michael Keaton Batman in my collection is a shock to me, but I got them on Amazon and canceled my order on Entertainment Earth. Yes, Kami, I saw your face. I do not like the Tim Burton Batman movies. I don't.
I love them. They're so near and dear to my heart. I love Michael Keaton, and they're just nostalgic. How could you not like them?
Because Zack Snyder's Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is everything that every true Superman and Batman fan could have ever wanted. That's why. That warehouse fight scene.
Yes, but from a pop culture perspective, you can't compare oranges to apples in that regard, because Zack Snyder's movie is for the comic book connoisseur. Tim Burton did what no other director was doing at that time. He created a Batman movie and gave Batman life. So for that, as a pop culture junkie, you should appreciate that. Now, whether you love it or not is indifferent. I mean, the movie can be fantastic and you can still hate it. But I think what Tim Burton did for superheroes at that time and in that moment in history was just unfounded. I mean, it was. And then the fact that it's actually really good, you know? I mean, it's dark and it's gritty, and there's a phenomenal cast.
Yeah, but it's just not what I know.
For that reason, I love it. And maybe for all the wrong reasons as a comic book reader, but yeah, and don't get me wrong, I love Zack Snyder and I love what he did for the franchise also. But to compare Tim Burton to Zack Snyder is oranges to apples. I'm sorry, I love them for different reasons, and I love them both.
Well, I do always say that when people actually ask me what my favorite Batman movie is, I actually say it's the 1966 Batman movie with Adam West. That really is the best Batman movie. Everyone else can go and fight me on that one because Adam West was a golden god. But anyway, so the three topics are the fact that there were some massive overhauls at Funko, including the part that shocked me the most, and that was the fact that Brian Mariotti fired Rob Wilkinson, a.k.a. Wilkie, known as one of the Three Musketeers. One of the Three Musketeers, meaning the three founders of the company, which was him, Schwartz, and Becker. Those three guys. And the other one that was really surprising was the firing of Reese O'Brien and the quitting of Jim Butcher, who were part of the creative team, who were extremely passionate about it. And I also really feel sad that the entirety of the social media division got thrown off because, you know, when you saw Ashley on the Funko stuff all the time, that was exciting. It was fun. I mean, I'm surprised that Hillary is still there. I really am. But I still remember the days of Cameron and Yoko and Sully. Like, I remember them and then being let go as well. And on top of that, another interesting piece of news that seems to be happening right now is apparently there are rumors that a lot of big box retailers are starting to drop out of the Funko game. There are rumors that Walmart doesn't want to sell Funko Pops anymore. And that's another thing that I personally have been noticing for at least the last 4 to 5 years is retailers that pretty much had Funko as their main go-to. I've noticed that those spaces have been shrinking tremendously. Barnes & Noble being the most recognizable and the most easy to spot. There used to be a time where there would be walls of Funko Pops in Barnes & Noble stores, and now, not saying that it's a bad thing, it's been replaced by the new hot ticket, which is manga. But Entertainment Earth is another prime example of the fact that with all of these people being thrown off and the fact that it seems to be a possibility of a drop in quality, because the other rumor is the fact that Funko is trying to possibly start outsourcing and not doing any of their artwork and designs in-house. That's what makes me really scared.
And now that you mention it,
Yeah,
the
that's
last few times I've been
idea.
to Barnes & Noble, I haven't really seen any Pops. Or if they have, there hasn't been many, but Books A Million still has a ton.
Yeah, there aren't that many Books A Million stores near me. I mean, I know that FYE always has a lot of them. Hot Topic space has also shrank tremendously.
Yeah.
Box Lunches has also, Box Lunch is interesting because they're still carrying a lot of Funko Pops. They're still carrying a lot of Funko products, but
Just
it's
not necessarily
mostly,
the Pops.
it's not Pops, it's Loungefly.
Yeah.
But Box Lunch is also a derivative sister store of Hot Topic, so
That's
Right.
they're
correct.
going to mimic each other to some degree. But I think that, again, having been a collector for as long as I have, I mean, I've been collecting something to some capacity since I was 9 years old. There is a drop. Every collection, every fad, every trend will have a drop. And I think we've just reached that pivotal moment with Funko. It's either you need to reinvent yourself, you need to reinvent the wheel, so to speak, or you need to just call it what it is. And when you have to start making big executive decisions like firing some of your founders, and you want to outsource the brilliant artists that you have in-house with someone third party, then maybe you should reconsider what you're doing. And again, I go back to, this is why I don't have faith in Brian Mariotti. All these types of decisions are his decisions. Mike Becker would have never made those decisions, because one of the best qualities that Mike Becker had was the faith in his team. And he always wanted to make sure that they were protected. And he always wanted to make sure that they were employed. And when he chose Brian Mariotti, that was one of the reasons why he chose him, is because he thought that Brian's going to carry on the torch, not only because he has the same heart and compassion for the company, but he's going to take care of my people. And now he's not taking care of his people. He's making some really foolish decisions. And for what? To save a buck? You know, as a creator of a very unique product, you have to be mindful that it is going to cost you behind the scenes some money to create these products. And if you're cheapening the product by outsourcing with these third-party companies, you're going to compromise the integrity of the actual figure itself, i.e. the paint. I even had a Funko Pop that arrived that I had to return twice because it was chipped. And it's like, you know, that's shitty plastic. And it takes a lot to have a shitty plastic mold like that, you know? But that tells me that the whole damn line of that particular pop just was ill manufactured. And the fact that it flew out and off the shelves in such a rapid rate, the quality control is not there anymore. So instead of looking at hiring third party, maybe Brian should focus a little bit more of a narrow mind and focus on the team that he has. One of the best things about Funko employees is their dedication and their passion for the company. If you invest in your people will produce for you. When you start treating your people like shit, your people are going to look for other places to go. So the fact that he fired Wilkinson probably wasn't just on Mariotti. I mean, there had to be a breaking point for Sean too, for Sean to say, you know what, man, this just isn't what it used to be. And it's okay. I mean, people outgrow companies, but when it comes down to someone who's been there since day one and it wasn't their decision, then some shit happened. And we don't know exactly what occurred between the two of them, but I can just tell you, I have a lot of disdain for Mariotti. He's made a lot of stupid decisions for a company that, yeah, have they had highs and lows? Every company does. But he's not scaling it back to fix the problem. He's trying to outsource, and he's trying to maintain the same level of empire that he created. And it's not what it used to be. If you're talking about major retailers like Walmart pulling out, if you've been to a Walmart lately, they are fully overstocked with Funko. That tells me people are not buying their product. Furthermore, a company like Walmart doesn't give a shit about the majority of the product on their shelf. People don't take care of things in Walmart. They're very neglectful, and they're very they're just trashy in Walmart. You know, they don't have the pride to take care of something on the shelf. So I'm sure it comes down to damaged boxes and lost product, theft. You know, there's a lot of things that have to happen, but that's on Walmart, because Walmart doesn't take care of their shit. That's not a reflection of Funko. That has every volume, and anybody who's ever shopped at Walmart knows that. You know, Walmart just has low standards on their return policy, the product on the shelf. It's unfortunate because it's not how it used to be, but we really need to look at, again, the overall quality of the product that's being pushed out. And I don't think Mariotti is focusing on that. I think he's focusing on, how do I recoup what I lost? But hey, Dingbat, you are the CEO. You have to realize that when the curve, the power curve starts changing and people aren't at home anymore and they're going back to work, don't still produce 50 million freaking baby Yodas. Scale back a little bit, because maybe that's not where people's focal point is. And then furthermore, are you tone deaf? Are you not paying attention to real life problems? People are struggling right now. We're struggling to feed our families. We're struggling to keep gas in our vehicles. We're struggling just to keep afloat. So maybe collecting isn't what it used to be to the majority of us. So if you're going to resonate with your fan base, understand that your fan base isn't what it was 2 years ago. And we will stick with you if you stick with us. But if you give us a for shit product, we're not going to be there when you come out the other side of this. And you can throw all your products in the dump. Because that's when you're going to end up being shit anyway.
Because I remember, especially before the pandemic, I mean, I'm talking like from 2015 to like 2018, that was like when Funko Pops were at their highest point. That was like when everybody was so excited for the new line. Everybody was so, oh my God. Kami, do you remember how exciting it was every single time it was time for the cons to start dropping their stuff? And the cons...
And you'd plan out what stores you were going to go to and which pop was most important to you. Like, I would take that day off and like go hunting for pops.
Yeah, I was staying up and like getting onto the computer at midnight to get that. Or also when like they would make an announcement that, hey, a Funko Shop exclusive is dropping at this point in time, get going. Like, we got excited. It was also just because of the fact that they were giving us the products that we wanted. I mean, the other thing that's interesting about Brian Mariotti is the fact that we also have to consider the fact that during the pandemic, he was not the CEO. Aaron Perlmutter was the CEO. And also, by the way, Kami, I want to thank you for catching me. I completely messed up the name. It's Sean Wilkinson. I mixed him up with Rob Schwartz. So I am going to apologize to the Funko faithful with that. But I mean, even when they announced that Funko Fun Days box with the Mike Becker and Brian Mariotti double pack, and that we actually saw it on eBay. Kami, you're the reason why I bought that one, because you were like, Steven, if you were a real Funko fan, you need to have Mike and Brian in your collection. And you're right. And the fact that I was able to get that double pack for under $20 was great. But that's the other thing. Obviously, everybody's been raising their prices, and I know the solid that unfortunately, even in Entertainment Earth, it used to be $10.99 for a pop. Now it's $11.99 for a pop. And people are actually still dumbfounded about the prices of Funko sodas. And also the decision that they just recently made with Funko sodas is not necessarily something that I'm like upset about, but now they're actually making whole lines of Funko sodas, and they're not limited batches. So a lot of people were concerned about that, because why was the Funko soda the hot ticket item for the time? I mean, like, why has it surpassed the pop? It's because of the fact that it's about the hunt again. Because here's a product that's being made in limited batches, especially when you find out that the Grumpy Bear and Bedtime Bear, there's only 7,500 of them out there. So, of course, if you're a Care Bears fan, you want to get your hand on that, and you hopefully want to get the chase as well. I mean, I am an extremely picky person when it comes to Funko sodas, because I am not paying $20 for a ton of Funko sodas each. But if you thought that I was selective with my Funko Pops, I am 10 times more selective when it comes to Funko sodas. Like, you have got to give me something that is really going to grab me, like The Last Ronin. When they announced that one, I was like, oh, I have to have that one. Because unless you read that comic book, you have no idea who The Last Ronin is, You know he looks like a Ninja Turtle, but you don't know which Ninja Turtle it is unless you read the fucking book. And I know that you and I, Kami, have read the fucking book, and we're reading the sequel as well. So obviously I had to get The Last Ronin. I had to. But
I'm the same. I don't have a lot of sodas. I have maybe a dozen sodas, but
I don't
I'm
have
very
any.
selective with them. And it's not for any other reason than just, again, it's spacing. And I wanted to be very specific with my sodas, you know,
Yep.
things that either I wasn't able to get in pop form because that was
Yep.
before I started collecting and those pops were astronomically priced, or it was just something that I really did enjoy in that smaller sized figure. And the cans are super cool. You know, I would love it if we could get a refrigerator on the open market. I know those are only given to stores, but you know, nonetheless, it's a unique product, and you're absolutely right, Steve. It put the hunt back in us. And as a collector, you do need that reinvigoration every now and then. You need to have that spark rejuvenated. Otherwise, it just becomes this monotonous droll drum process, and nobody wants to be a boring collector. You know, the whole point of this is to get excited and to be excited about it. Like you were saying, you know, Steve, when you had the Funko exclusives on the website and you would wait for that announcement, you know, or the cons, as you know, we all just talked about. There are certain things that Funko does that we as fanatics get excited about.
And
when
finding
you stop
chases
keeping
was really
oh
fun.
yeah, I only have one
even
chase.
that's not. I have a couple, not many.
I mean, the funny thing is, the only reason why I started buying Funko sodas was because when they announced the Bob Ross, and the chase was where his afro was going to be flocked, I was like, you know something? Even if I don't get the afro, this is the one that is officially going to get me into it. But you're right, Kami. You said I have sodas that are not pops, like the Tick and Mighty Mouse. I got Marty McFly because I'm a Back to the Future fan, and I love the fact that the Marty McFly that they gave us was him from Back to the Future 2 holding the hoverboard, because honestly, that's my favorite Back to the Future movie. I love the second one the most. But yeah, I only have a total of 6 now, and I do have 2 3-liters. The only reason why I got the first one was for my wife, because she had been waiting for a Funko soda that she could have. And unfortunately, the Care Bear ones came out long after the other one. But at the same time, another thing that I actually personally do in terms of collecting Funko products is I am one of those people out there that wants to have one day a Funko Pop with every exclusive sticker on it, even though I am never going to get a Pop in the Box or a Gemini Collectibles or a Fugitive Toys. I am very happy that I do have the D23 exclusive 3-liter Baymax. I'm really glad I have that one because it was a 5,000 piece. So I'm like, it's very rare. So I'm very glad that I have that one. Also, something I didn't mention earlier, you were talking about running out of space. I wonder if I am the only Funko collector in this entire planet that actually has Funko Pops in his kitchen.
I had to think no, I don't have one in my kitchen, but I have managed to get all of my children on the Funko gig, and they're not my biological children, so their mothers probably low-key hate me. But, you know, it's just because I'm like, yeah, you need all 7 of these, and here, go home with them. You don't need to keep them here. So, yeah.
We don't have them in our kitchen, but we have Guy Fieri in our dining room.
I have Guy Fieri's in my kitchen, and that's
he's in our dining room.
All of the Funko Pops I have in my kitchen, they're all food related.
Yeah, so I would keep food related ones in it, but
yep, that's where I actually got a Funko Pop that I never even planned. Someone gave it to me as a gift, and it's my only diamond pop. My brother-in-law got me the diamond, it's sugar collected, it's sugar exclusive Mr. Kool-Aid Man.
Oh, nice.
That in a million years. And by the way, something to say about the diamond editions. If you ever buy one, don't take it out of the box, because you will get glitter, aka the STD of the art world, all over your hand.
I love glitter.
Yeah, so I have those.
I'm not a fan of them, only because they make me nervous to handle. I always think that I'm going to rub all the glitter off, you know. I don't know. There's just something about them, but I don't think they're very attractive.
I don't either, so I haven't bought one.
But even the exclusives at the Funko shop and even the exclusives at the con have really been downgraded. I mean, I remember some of the exclusives at the Funko shop that got me very excited, and I'm very glad that I have them. Like, I'm so glad. I remember when the Johnny Quest and Haji came out. I got those. I remember when my wife wanted the Share Bear in the Cloud Car Pop Ride. That was $50, but we have it. We're glad that we have it. But they're not even doing that right anymore. Not to mention my serious gripe that I have with Funko regarding digital. I hate the digitals just because of the fact that when you see, the NFTs, when you see the redeemable physical pops that you can get, I'm like, fuck you, Funko. These should be commons. When I saw the second digital wave of Hanna-Barbera and the fact that one of the physical pops to redeem is Birdman, I'm like, I want Birdman. I would prefer Harvey Birdman, attorney at law, but I love Birdman. Why is he not a common? I would buy him.
Steve, to this day, I still have not figured out how to download my damn NFT from our superhero pop. I don't for the life of me understand. It's like, go here and download this and put it on this shelf, and I'm like, what the fuck? No,
I completely. I mean, I bookmarked the place where I can constantly look at it, but I'm also trying to find out how much it's worth because I gotta sell that damn thing. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't care for it.
I know it's somewhere on my Funko app. I just don't know how to get to it. And then that was another issue that I had with the freaking Funko app. It was down for like over a month.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? So I had to keep all the new pops that I bought in a concentrated area because I have to put them into the system. Otherwise, my old brain will forget. And so for a freaking month, these shits were piling up because they, is they included Loungefly into the app. And I'm like, really? It took you a whole month to do that? It was stupid. Absolutely stupid. I was so pissed because I don't use online to track my Funko Pops. I only use the app because it's easy. You can scan them. But a whole month? Come on, guys.
I use I use Pop Price Guide. I mean, I
used to, but I don't know.
They reformatted, and now it's difficult and whatnot. I agree with you, but no, I mean, like, I also am very glad that I am finally going to have my very first WonderCon exclusive. Like, because that was the other thing that was very interesting. I couldn't remember the last time WonderCon had so many exclusives. Also, did you notice that Emerald City Comic Con didn't have any? They only had one, and they didn't even advertise it. It's another thing that I don't understand that Funko makes, the black lights. I don't get the black lights. And the only exclusive was the Crusaderette Blacklight Edition.
Weird.
Don't understand black lights. Don't understand NFTs. I definitely don't understand Funko Gold. I do not understand that line.
Oh,
it's just there's so much.
Those are ugly. And they're expensive. They're ugly and expensive.
I've seen them up close, and I'm just like, who the hell is buying these?
Like all these, holiday specific ones, like all the stupid Star Wars Valentine's ones, where it was just literally all of the Star Wars ones only pink with hearts over them. I'm like,
I know. Okay,
why?
Be careful where you tread, Gina, because Kami does like the gingerbread cookies.
Okay, gingerbread cookies are cute. The Valentine's ones were not.
I agree.
Yeah, I hated those also. I don't like the color specific ones, and I don't like the art series either. I don't understand those.
I don't get it. And the art series ones are expensive. Like, I've seen the art series in Target. They actually put them in pop protectors.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, they're expensive and they're not attractive. They're just gross.
Every year there's a new Christmas one. Like, the gingerbread ones are cute. And, like, the ones with the little lights all over them, again, cute. But why do we need them?
I don't know.
Well, I will be honest. I will be honest, Gina. I do have a set of Star Wars Christmas pops, not the Valentine's ones though. And then I also have two different lines of Disney Christmas pops, just because photograph reasons. I think
Fair.
they photograph really well for the holidays. But beyond that, no. But cookies, you can give me cookies all day long. I actually even just picked up the Batman gingerbread cookie because I was like, I need a Batman gingerbread cookie. Who the hell does
right?
it? You know?
Like I said, I don't get it. Am I going to be a sucker and probably buy some? Yes, but the Valentine's ones were ugly.
And like I look back at some of the other old lines, like, and I know that they were popular. Like, I loved when they were making the Disney afternoon stuff, and there were just some things that they never did, and I just never understood it. Like, the perfect example is Tailspin. I never bought a Tailspin pop, but goddamn, I wanted a Don Carnage. They never made Don Carnage. If they would have just made Don Carnage, I would have bought it, and I would have had a Tailspin pop in my collection. I mean, out of the Disney Afternoon, the only two that I have are the New York City Comic Con exclusive of Scrooge McDuck jumping out of a pile of gold, which is gorgeous. I love it. And I got the Target exclusive Gizmo Duck. I loved Gizmo Duck when I was a kid, but I never bought any of the other DuckTales ones. And to a certain degree, there are a couple of things that Funko has been getting right recently. And I like when they actually do remasters of certain lines that have been in dire need of remastering. And I think one of the better ones is Mickey and Friends, because oh my goodness, did Donald Duck, I mean, don't get me wrong, there were Kingdom Hearts versions of Donald Duck, which were really, really good, but we needed a recreating of just Donald Duck as Donald Duck. And because of Mickey and Friends, we finally got Daisy. After how many years? Where was Daisy?
True, yeah.
And there were
I would like to see a 5-pack Daisy and Donald through the years, even maybe Goofy. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I would love.
Has there been? I haven't been in the Funko game for a while. Have they done Goofy movie at all?
They actually did. They also have. Okay, there's movie. There's movie posters. There's albums. There's VHS covers, and there's comic covers. They did a VHS cover of a Goofy movie.
Okay.
So they have Goofy in his fishing gear, but no, they should have just made regular Goofy. I mean, they made Powerline pops.
Did they?
2 of them actually.
Yeah, but that's another one that I was pissed about because they had Powerline and then they came out with the new Powerline, and I'm like, you couldn't have just left me with the old Powerline because I have Powerline. So I'm like, come on, guys, you're killing me here with this bullshit. Just one time, release it. If you get it, great. If you don't, piss off.
Right.
Yep. Exactly. I agree 100%. But I don't know. I mean, oh God, you know what we haven't even talked about yet? And I think it's time, and I'm really excited to hear Kami, because I know a rant is coming. Bitty Pops.
Okay. I've been seeing them on TikTok. They look adorable, and I kind of want some.
Oh, dear Lord.
So here's my thing with the Bitty Pops.
You probably were a Polly Pocket collector when you were a kid. It's why you were interested in them.
I still have my Polly Pockets.
Polly Pocket for me was a little bit young for me. She came, I mean, I don't know. I guess she came out in the 90s, didn't she? Like the early 90s. But that was
my childhood.
I liked the guys. I was all about Mighty Max. I was all for Mighty Max, though.
No, the only Polly Pocket I had was an Alice in Wonderland Polly Pocket. It's extremely rare, and it got ruined in a flood about 15 years ago, and I died. I still to this day cannot find it, and I literally held it in my hands, and the paint was just stripping off, and I was just like, oh my God, I was so sad. And actually that particular instance is what stopped me from collecting for 10 years, because I lost so many valuable things in that. So yeah, but
Oh God.
you swing back. You either do or you don't.
No,
Okay, but Bitty Pops, let's get back to that. So the reason I don't have an issue with Bitty Pops is because during the pandemic, I started collecting the mini food items. You know, those those balls that had the 5 surprises. And I have a shit ton of those, a shit ton of stores, one of which is Disney. And they came out with an actual Disney store for all your Disney miniatures. And I think those Bitty Pops would be so cute on the shelves. So that is my only caveat to giving a little bit of props to the Bitty Pops, because they work in the Disney store. That's it. That's all I want. I don't care about the Harry Potter line or anything else. I just want the Disney ones for the Disney store.
Yeah, the Disney ones, I think they're the cutest.
I could probably do Star Wars too, because Star Wars kind of is in the Disney realm, but I won't do it. If I get them, but they're kind of expensive. They're like $15 for 4 of them, you know.
Well, you want to know what know what I think it is? It's the new mystery mini. That's what it looks like to me. Because now they're basically saying a pack of 4, and you'll get the mystery 4.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. They every pack has the mystery one, so you don't know what you're gonna get.
Because it was really funny.
That's my only caveat to that.
Because it was really funny when they first came out and I showed my wife the Harry Potter ones. First of all, she actually said to me, if you seriously are interested in these, I will probably have to murder you in your sleep. And I was like, don't worry, I am not interested in these. But she actually took a look at the Harry Potter ones because she loves Harry Potter. And she said, I would have probably bought one of these, but she says the combinations of all 4 of these sets is bad. And she's like, that's why I don't want one. But I'm glad, because I personally think that it's stupid. I'm like, why? I mean, you know what? You might as well bring Dorbs back if you think these are going to work so much, you know? Seriously, you think gold is going to be successful? For the love of God, bring rock candy back.
I have a few Dorbs. I have a few rock candy. I think I have dabbled
I don't have any of those.
At least one of anything Funko has ever done. But
I have. I bought a bunch of the keychains and then took the keychain out of it because I didn't want to buy the big pop because I ran out of room. But the little tiny ones were cute, so I think I might fall victim to those.
Keychains. I actually have a few of them. I got a World of Warcraft Murloc because I never planned to get any of the Now I have the World of Warcraft movie line. I love the movie pops. They're beautifully detailed. But I didn't ever get anything from the video game. So when I saw they were going to make a Murloc keychain, I was like, okay, I got to get this one. But I got like Itchy and Scratchy in a keychain. And I did do a really nice thing for my wife. When I first met her, on her keychain was a little Hermione Lego. But it basically just deteriorated and just like went to hell. And every single time we went to a Lego store and we tried to find one, we never could find one. And so I was just like, Jen, I'm buying you a Hermione Funko Pop keychain just because. And she's happy that she has it. She also got a Niffler from Fantastic Beasts. So, yeah, we do have a few of the Funko Pop keychains, but not many. I have 2 Dorbs. I have the George Jetson in his car, which is limited to 5,000 pieces. And the only reason why I bought it was because I never thought they were ever going to make a Jetsons Funko Pop line. And guess what happened? They did, and I have the entire line.
Naturally.
I have to. I mean, and they're beautiful too. They are some of my favorites. I love the Jetsons line, especially the fact that I was even able to get the Funko Shop exclusive of Mr. Spacely. That was the one I was hoping that I was not going to be able to miss out on. And I got one of those DC collector boxes. Oh my God, one of the collector boxes? They're still making the Marvel ones, which is a shock to me. But I got the Batman animated series box, and I got the Batmobile, and that's wonderful. I love it. I really, really do. But yeah, I just think that right now the problem is they're just not being wise with their decision making. But it's really funny because sometimes when I make my Funko Pop videos, I actually say, you know, is this going to be the last one? Like, is this going to be the last Funko Pop that I ever collect? Because I really thought that after the Flash movie pops that I bought, There was nothing outside of the last Ronin soda that I bought. There was nothing that I was interested in. Right now, all I'm doing is I'm waiting for my WonderCon exclusive of Baby Groot pressing the button, because it's one of the greatest moments in MCU history. And I just really was not sure if I was going to buy another pop. And then something happened. They made a line that I had been waiting for since 2015, 2016. And they announced the Indiana Jones line. And I heard rumors that they were going to be doing the Dial of Destiny, to which I said, if this is the only way, because as an 80s kid, there are 4 pillars that must be in my collection of Funko Pops. And they are Roger Rabbit, Ferris Bueller, Indiana Jones, and what the fuck is the 4th one? I can't remember right now. Thank you. Marty McFly. Yep, that's it. Those 4 movies, I need representation in all 4, and I have not been able to complete that because they made Indiana Jones pops. I still remember San Diego Comic-Con 2016, and I see that Indiana Jones pop, and I'm like, let me know what retail store it's going to be in. I'm going to buy it. Nope. It's exclusive to Disney theme parks, or it was at the time exclusive to the con. And then all the other ones that they made, no. When I went to Walt Disney World in 2018, I specifically tried to see if I could possibly find an Indiana Jones pop at the Disney theme parks. No, I didn't find it, but I did find a Figment, so I bought that instead.
Nice.
So I have a Disney theme park exclusive Funko Pop. It's an Epcot Center Figment, and I'm damn proud that I have it. But then they announced Indiana Jones Pops for real this time, and I'm just like saying, thank you, because they're not doing the Dial of Destiny. They're doing the original trilogy. Not even the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. They're doing Temple of Doom, Raiders, and The Last Crusade. And so the other interesting thing is they're doing something that they haven't done with Funko Pops in a very long time. They're going to be bobbleheads. Mm-hmm. So I'm basically saying to myself, okay, so basically every Disney property that is not created by Disney, but rather bought by Disney, is bobblehead, hence Marvel, Star Wars. Indiana Jones makes sense. So I was looking at them, and I'm like, I don't like these, because I want Indiana Jones with the idol and the whip and the trench coat. Like, I don't like the regular one that they have. And then the movie moment shows up, and I'm like, there it is! There it is. You are pre-ordered. Yay! So, yes, Indiana Jones being chased by the boulder. He's holding the whip. He's holding the idol. He's running from the big rock. That's for a better, so it took me years to finally get Indiana Jones. And not only am I getting Indiana Jones, I'm getting a freaking movie moment. The best, most iconic movie moment in Indiana Jones history. So I'm excited again. You know, this was something that I've been missing for a bit. So it was great to have that feeling back.
Like, kind of same. Like, I haven't really bought any pops in a long time. And then you guys told me about the Linkin Park album ones, and that episode I went on Amazon and got the one that I could, and then right after you sent me the link where I could get the other one for not $100, and now I'm back on it again.
Well,
I bought a Bell
it's a
one.
good feeling.
Yeah, like, because every time I go into the comic book store, you know, I could take a look, see if there's anything that like stands out. And they had Belle sitting and reading, and I'm like, well, I have to get this one. She's my favorite, and it's her with books.
Yeah, and sometimes you just go into a store and you find one that just speaks to you. I still remember this one time years ago when we went to the Barnes & Noble, my wife and I, and all of a sudden she sees that pop of the Beast from Beauty and the Beast with all the birds around him.
Yeah, that
and
was
she's
fun.
like, she looks at him. She's
so heavy.
I
He is
know,
heavy.
but she looks at him, and then all of a sudden the song pops into her head, and she's like, "I think I need to get this." So she bought it. I'm surprised
Yep.
she didn't buy the
Did
bell
she
that
get the
matched.
matching bell that came out
Nope.
this last year?
Nope.
Yeah.
She
She's
said
got
it
a
didn't
red
speak
bird.
to her.
Well, it did to me because that was what I was irritated with, because they released the bell in the pink like parka with the fur, but she didn't have a bird in her hand. I'm like, how are you going to release Beast with two birds, one of which is blue and one of which is yellow, and then you're not going to give Belle the red bird? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And then it happened, and I was like, do I need it? No. Do I want it? Yes, because now I'm going to have my birds pair.
Right.
You know, so yes, do I have both? I do. Is it stupid? Probably. But you know what? I've done dumber things in this world, so it's fine. I've got two bells.
You know, a lot of people complain about the fact that they have so many Batmans. And yes, do I have a lot of Batmans in my collection? Sure, I do. But the most important thing is that every single Batman that I have is a very specific Batman that just speaks to me. So it's just, I'm not upset about the fact that I have, I think, 6 Jokers and maybe like 7 Batmans, because they're various Batmans. You know, like there's a Batman animated series Batman. There's an Adam West Batman. There's Batfleck. There's Dark Knight Returns Batman. There's DC Bombshells Batman. There's the one that's the comic cover from Todd McFarlane. There's my Target exclusive 1997 Grant Morrison JSA Batman. So every single Batman and my Supermans and my Jokers, there's reasons. That's what I love. There are reasons. And I mean, I know that you have it, Kami, as well, but that Death of the Family Joker with the face stapled to his face is like one of the best things I've ever seen.
Yeah, that is probably one of the coolest Joker pops that I own. And I too have a lot of Batman, and that happened because of the 80th anniversary. I'm like, yep, I need all of these. And I just put them all in my cart, and I did not feel guilty at all about it. And then when they arrived, it was like my birthday. I was like, oh my God, these are so great. Especially the one that lights up with Commissioner Gordon. I will do that all the time. I'm like, oh, yep, bat signal. Batman's coming.
Yeah, I have the comic behind me with Batman and Robin on a rooftop. I think that's from 1964. I think that's such a nostalgic piece. I love it because it encapsulates everything I love about Batman.
And that for me is what I love about movie moments. I think that for me, they get me excited because they take me back to that moment in the movie, the first time that I saw it, the reason why I fell in love with the line. And that's why I do have so many movie moments, you know, but I don't feel guilty about having a character multiple times or in different ways or different poses or whatever,
yeah,
if it makes
they are
sense.
Different.
But like,
right.
They are. And again, for photographic reasons, there's a ton of different reasons why you would want a character in all these different poses or scenarios. And I get that. And I respect anybody who wants to go out and own all of those Pennywises. And don't get me wrong, I have like 6 Pennywises, you know, so I'm not really one to top.
Well, like, I've also again been very selective. Like I've always kind of wanted some Marvel ones, but I don't really have many Marvel ones. And then I got the Hawkeye from his show, and I loved it because of his sweater.
Oh yeah,
like they have his Christmas sweater.
That's another interesting fact about me. I don't have that many Marvel pops. At least I didn't for a while, because like I didn't get any of the Marvel Cinematic Universe ones. I mean, the only Marvel pops that I had at one point in time were like all 4 stages of Groot, from like baby Groot to adult Groot.
Yeah, so I have a Groot and I have a couple Deadpools, and the only reason I have multiple Deadpools is because they were gifts mostly. And then now I have Hawkeye from his show.
Yeah, I have 2 Deadpools. I have one regular Deadpool with his thumbs up, and I had to get Bob Ross Deadpool when I first saw that in the movie. Like, I had to get that. I even have the keychain that came with Deadpool 2 over at Target or Walmart, or one of those. But I also...
That's how I have a Shazam pop. I have the keychain because it came with the Blu-ray.
Right, but I also got some really cool Marvel pops. Like, I think I did get the Avengers Endgame Captain America with the broken shield and him holding Mjolnir with the lightning around him, just because it's a beautiful pop. Yeah. But I also got Kelsey Grammer as Beast. flocked from the third X-Men movie because I love Kelsey Grammer in that role. And I thought that that was going to be the only way that I was ever going to, because I also like say to myself, you know, I want this actor in my collection. And I thought that that was going to be the only way that I would get a Kelsey Grammer. But of course, then the Frasier line comes out. So of course I get all three of them. Really upset that that is an unfinished line, because the fact that Roz and Daphne are not in that set pisses me off to no avail. I hate the fact that Frasier's line is incomplete. Same with the Cheers line. I'm really upset that they never made Carla or Rebecca, or that's just upsetting to me. You can't make the Cheers line and not give us every core cast member. I mean, I don't have all of them. I just have Cliff and Norm because they are the best part of that show, but you have to have the entirety of that team. You can't just have a handful of them and expecting to see if they sell or don't sell. That's just my own personal thoughts. But outside of the other stuff, when it comes to Marvel, a lot of my stuff revolved around comic books. Like, of course, I had to get the Fantastic Four stuff because the Fantastic Four line was so gorgeous. I got a couple of my favorite X-Men, like when they finally made Nightcrawler and they finally made Jubilee. I got so excited. And I had to get the only put-together set, which is Spider-Man versus the Sinister Six. But then when they announced all of that Spider-Man No Way Home stuff, I was like, okay, I'm going to get the 3-pack of all 3 Spider-Man. And then, of course, I had to get the metallic. That's actually the only metallic one. I got the metallic Green Goblin from Boxed Lunch, but also I could finally say I finally have Willem Dafoe in my collection. And then I got Electro because it looked really, really cool. And I got Doc Ock because, you know, these are characters that I love. And I'm just like, 3 Spider-Mans, I need 3 villains to go with them. So I had to get the best ones that I could find. But again, no regrets. I love the fact that I have them in my collection because I love the actors that portray these characters. And I love the way that they're designed. I think they really did a great job with all of them. But still not as many as most people. Like, there's so many. I mean, I've got a couple of the comic covers as well because I had to get Amazing Fantasy 15. I had to get Journey into Mystery 83, which is the first appearance of Thor. They actually just announced a new Marvel comic cover, which was Avengers issue 4, which is the very first time that Captain America joins the Avengers. Fun fact, he was not in the first Avengers comic. He was still frozen in time at the time. But I'm like, that's cool and all, but I'd much rather have Captain America #1 from 1942 by Jack Kirby. I mean, that's just a legendary moment. I mean, the cover is gorgeous too. So I don't know if they'll ever make it, but if they ever do, that's the one that I would personally want.
I only have 2 Marvel that I can think of. Well, maybe 3 if you count the bronze Stan Lee that I have behind me. But at one point I was collecting every Stan Lee, and then I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. I don't need Stan Lee in every single post. So I kept that one. I kept the Pez dispenser because it just looks cool. And then I got the new one with kind of the comic cover behind him. And then I have Thor. I bought that which is my only Marvel that I can think of. So I don't have a lot, but when it comes to DC, I have like a ton.
I have a few DC. I don't remember exactly, but it actually just popped up on my Facebook memories the other day. I got a Batman and a Joker. I think I got a couple different variants.
I have a lot of DC ones, more DCs than Marvel, that's for sure.
Harry Potter is definitely my biggest Funko collection, and then probably Disney, mostly Beauty and the Beast.
I think DC is my biggest collection just because of all the various versions of DC that I have, because I got Batman the Animated Series. I also have a lot of different comic book versions of these characters. I have a large chunk of DC AU. I also have some comic covers. And of course, that 7-piece Target set based on that one comic book series from the 90s, that's my... When it comes to all my DC stuff, as much as I love my Batman and Animated Series collection, it's that 7 set of the Justice League from 1997 with the comic book shading, because That's what I read when I was a kid. That was my stuff. So, and that was what
for me, what kept me as a collector. You know, Funko had the collector mindset in mind. When they started it, they were hungry. They wanted to make toys that were things they wanted to collect, things that they wanted to see in toy form. And I feel like they've kept pretty true to that, but it's nice to get excited about something again. It's nice to anticipate a line. It's nice to, you know, like you were saying, get that box in the mail and just rip it open just so you can see it. But my thing now is quality. If the quality goes downhill, it doesn't matter what the hell the character is, because I'm not going to care about owning it, because if the quality is for shit, why am I going to want to display that, you know?
Yeah, because there's a big rumor right now, and I don't know if it's true or not, but because of the success of the Super Mario Brothers movie, there is a rumor that Nintendo is going to finally start letting their property go out to other retailers. So there could possibly be some Super Mario Brothers Funko Pops in our future. And if there are,
I would get those.
I would get them all. I would get every
those.
single one of them. And if that means that other Nintendo properties will finally become Funko Pops, then knowing that there's a possibility that I could finally have a Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf in my collection, I would die. I would absolutely die.
That's supposed to be the next movie in line, right?
Yeah, apparently I was telling this to Gina before we officially started. There's a possible NCU in the works.
Oh yeah, well, somebody dropped that either yesterday or today, and so it looks like we're going to be getting a Zelda movie. We're going to be getting another Mario movie. We'll be getting a Pikachu 2. We'll be getting some video game movie, but
there was like a good handful on
that. They're talking. I mean, like,
if this happens, I am all in.
Well,
the Mario movie was phenomenal.
It was so good.
Ever since I saw it, I was like, especially when they introduced when they went to Kong Country, I was like, give me a Donkey Kong Country movie, please. I would love one. No, I know exactly which video game you couldn't mention, Kami. They're talking about a Metroid movie.
There you go. I was like, I know it starts with an M, but what is it? My brain, you just had a moment.
Metroid is old school Nintendo.
Yeah, I was too young for that, cool. So it's not really in my. I played Zelda, but I did not play.
Well, the thing about that's the thing. I think
it would be so cool to finally see the Mario line, the Nintendo line in pop form, because we've all wanted it. We've all been waiting for it. We understand it's a licensing thing, but my bank account will be very happy because these damn Lego sets are so expensive, and it is really hard to add those. I mean, I finally gave in and I bought the yellow blocks with the question mark on it. Just because after seeing, it's phenomenal. And the fact that it has 3 different scenes on top, I was like, okay, I'm never going to see this in, you know, some other kind of form. So I did give in, and it was expensive. But like Bowser, I would love to have Bowser, but he's like $270.
He's very expensive.
You know, and it's like,
no,
I have a that's on my wish list that I want. I'm just like, but the money.
No, it's just like the one thing that.
Well, and I will say though, Legos are worth the investment because they will like last the tell of time, you know. So if you are considering it, just know it is a good investment. Lego is true to their name. I mean, hell, they've been around. They're one of the greatest toys ever, you know, made.
I have all that the flowers and put them in vases on my shelves, and then I also have the mini Disney castle because I don't have room for the big one. And then they came out with the mini one. I'm like, I can build.
As much as I would
heard
love.
we're getting an updated Disney castle, though. I heard we are, and if that happens, I will be so excited because I sat on the original one forever, along with the train. Because I'm like, well, I can't get the castle without the train, and vice versa. But then I'm like, where the hell am I gonna put these things first and foremost? So I didn't get them, and then somebody leaked the other day on one of the Lego forums that I follow that they're supposed to be releasing an updated castle. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know if that means we're going to be getting the Disney World castle now instead of the Disneyland castle, but we'll see what happens.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
I do regret not buying the ship in a bottle Lego set.
I have
that. I have that, and I love it so much.
I want it so bad, and I can't find it.
There's just one thing. There's just one thing that gets me so angry.
It's still available on Amazon.
Are they? Because I can't find them. Yeah, I can't find them for the original price when I skipped it.
Oh yeah, you'll never find it for the original price.
I know.
Yeah, you can still get one if you really want one.
I don't want one that bad.
There's one thing that still really bothers me when it comes to a lot of this topics of Funko today that everybody's talking about. I hate the fact that they always say that Funko is reminiscent of the Beanie Baby. No, it's not. No, it's not. Take it from
its own beast.
Take it from someone who actually was part of the Beanie Baby fad. The Beanie Baby fad lasted 4 years, maybe 5 years. Funko Pops have been around for a decade. And they're still
yes and no though. Yes and no though. And I think really where that stems from is any kind of collection. At some point you will reach the end. And everybody knows that. It's like, where is the end? And I think that when we start hearing the word Beanie Baby attached to Funko, it's because Funko's being stupid again. When Funko makes decisions that does not have the collector in mind, then we will immediately start to think of collections that just tanked, you know? I mean, think about Beanie Baby when we were buying them. And I didn't have many. I think I only ended up getting like 2 Beanie Babies. But the thing is they were expensive at the time, and the investment was there because the resale value was there. But if you do not sell something when it is hot and you choose to keep it forever and a day, you run the risk of finding that collector down the road that's like, oh yeah, I remember this line, and what do you want for it? And then you will and deal on it. But if I don't sell my collection today while people are interested in it, I'm never going to get out of these what I put into them, unless for some weird reason Funko holds its value, which I doubt. Nothing really does. As they say with any collection and any collector, the price is in the eye of the new owner. If I can sell you something because you just can't live without it, or it is the best thing since sliced bread for you, you will pay whatever it is that you need to pay to get it off my hands. But I just don't see that being the case if Funko continues to make the decision of recreating the molds and taking the value out of these pops, you know? Just make the pop and only make X amount of numbers to circulate out into the wild. And if you know the price ends up skyrocketing, so be it. If it doesn't, well, you know, it is what it is. But I don't appreciate the fact that they're taking ones that have been gone for years and bringing them back just so somebody else can get their hands on them. That's not what collecting is about.
I think what they really need to focus on, especially if they really want to keep Funko relevant and want to really keep the whole concept of pop continuing on, they really need to focus on everything that they've done up until this point and saw what truly worked and saw what really got the fans passionate about it. And I think a large chunk of it is to take on new franchises and licenses, and also take a look at some of their lines they never completed and start completing those lines. I mean, there are still so many pop culture elements that Funko still has not done that personally, if you gave me one of these, I would totally be buying them. Like, now everything is just in rumors, but it's like I know everybody's constantly making rumors that there's a Brooklyn Nine-Nine line coming. I would buy a character or two because I loved that show. There's a Seinfeld line. They never expanded upon it. People bought that line. People would buy more. In regards to Disney, there are still some canon classics that have never become Funko Pops. Like, do you know how many people have been asking for Atlantis, the Lost Empire?
Yeah.
I personally am still waiting for my Todd and Copper. I still have no idea why they never made Dawson from The Great Mouse Detective. They made the other 3 big characters. They never even made frickin' Toby as a pop ride. I mean,
I want more musicals. Like, I know we got Hamilton because it's super popular, but like I want more musicals.
Like, it's Kami. You want to hear? I'm going to throw something out that you probably never even thought of that has not even been a Funko Pop. And if you ever saw it, would you be buying it? Because I know that if they made it, I would. Where's Pink Panther?
Oh yeah, I don't know that that's one we will ever see.
I would well, as someone who has been buying one of the few. Whoops. Not the wire. Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Now, one of the few things that I personally was making a goal in my personal collection was I wanted to capture those true old cartoon characters from like the 50s and 60s. Forget the Looney Tunes. I mean, they should make more Looney Tunes characters also. You know, they never made Porky Pig, which is a shock to me. But I would love, well, they only actually, no, they made Porky Pig, but they made Porky Pig from the new Space Jam movie. They never made classic Porky Pig. But I have Popeye. I have Woody Woodpecker. I have Felix the Cat. I have Rocky and Bullwinkle. I have Quick Draw McGraw. I have like these truly iconic cartoon characters. The Pink Panther is an icon. I'm surprised they never made him. I'm really surprised. And there's so many other things like, you know what what line they never really expanded upon in such a long time? The books line. The one that had the Dr. Seuss characters. Like, you know what would sell? Eric Carle stuff, like the Very Hungry Caterpillar,
yes,
or Brown Bear, Brown Bear. You want to know what else would sell a ton of Funko Pops if they made it, especially if they wanted to capture young kids? Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
Those would be adorable Pops too,
So,
I think.
I think Paw Patrol's I think it's kind of past its awe point.
I think it's Bluey now.
You're right. It's Bluey and Coco.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with Bluey. Oh my God, if I had Bluey Pops, I would be so happy. I'm telling you.
Honestly, I am actually watching Paw Patrol for like the first time now because it's actually my daughter's favorite, and I actually understand why adults my age really got into it because it really feels like one of those old 80s cartoons.
Good.
It's really cute.
It's good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know that it's pop worthy. And I guess it's kind of again where you go with like what pops to make, you know.
Well,
but
look,
I mean, I have the Animaniacs. For me, that's like my holy grail. I love the fact that I was able to get my hands on those. I have the Rugrats. I have the Jetsons. I didn't get the Flintstones.
I regret not buying the Rugrats ones and I wanted them so bad, but they came out right when I was like starting to be more picky about things. I'm just like, I don't have space for these. I don't have the space for these. I wish I would.
I mean, like, I also feel that like the Muppets are in dire need of a makeover because those early Muppet Pops were horrible, but the Sesame Street line one was really good. But no, I mean, like, there's something like I want my Batman animated series line to be expanded. I really do. Of course, I'm always excited for new X-Men Pops when they come out, especially if they are characters. There's still some X-Men villains that they never made that I would personally like. Like they never made Apocalypse and they never made Pyro. Like these are some great characters that would look excellent in pop form. But like I know they'll never do it, but if they would ever complete the Firefly line, I would buy the last 4 crew members. I would. I'd love to have the entire crew of Serenity. I'd even buy Serenity itself if they made a pop ride out of it. I'd buy it. But again, it's just like there's still so many things that I feel that outside of creating new lines, I still also and new pops that are entirely new characters, I just feel that there are so many lines that they just never finished. I mean, I could think about all these old cartoons that I watched when I was a kid. I mean, oh my goodness, Bobby's World Pops? Come on.
Oh, but we haven't even gotten Bobby's World on DVD. We're never going to see a pop of that.
No, it's so upsetting.
Howie Mandel is so stingy when it comes to the licensing on Bobby's World. So, yeah. that would be the day hell freezes over that we get a Bobby's World pop.
Yeah, but you know something? The fact that it took us this long to get Indiana Jones pops, weirder things have happened. I don't know. I still feel.
I don't know. Again, though, that I kind of just look to the future of Funko. You know, I mean, we have to look at the timeline. We have to look at how long they've been doing this. And one of the things with the Funko timeline is they do things for a period of time, and then they try something new. Now, obviously, they tried the gold line. They did Dorbs. They did rock candy in the midst of still producing these pops. But I don't know that coming back to pop is always the best thing, unless they have new blood, new lines, new licensing. Then that's fine. But I think that right now, it's just stagnant, and the quality for me is everything. If I'm going to spend good money on something and collect it and put it on a shelf for display, if the quality is not there, then to me that is a sign that I just need to stop while I'm ahead of the game. I have some amazing pops. My collection now sits at 1,100. I'm very happy with that number.
Whoa!
You didn't know that?
No, I don't think you ever gave me. I don't think I ever heard that. Wow. Wow.
Hi, I'm Kami. I have a Funko collecting problem. No, but you know
I would too if I had
that number.
You don't have a collecting problem. You are an actual normal collector. I'm the rarity.
Well, even when I say that number out loud, though, I'm not ashamed of it, because when you look at, you know, other collectors that are true fanatics that have been there since day one, I mean, they're sitting at like 6, 7, 8,000 pops. That's a lot of pops. I am not the type of person that will go out and buy every pop that's ever made and complete every single line. I think that at the beginning, when I started really getting heavy into Disney, that was my intent, just because I was seeing so many people put them on Billy shelves and they were just really pretty to look at. But again, you know, now kind of tailoring my collection. I love it, but I don't have to have everything. You know, I invested in that ginormous Alice pop only because I am an Alice collector, and that made sense. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to buy every one that's released for the 100 years. However, I do find myself buying a few more of the 100-year pops than I originally anticipated. It just, you know, it's the nature of the beast. Like the Aurora. Oh my gosh, I don't have any Auroras in my collection. And the fact that for the 100 years you get her in a dress that is both pink and blue, that's like, oh my God, that's pretty perfect. Cool. I needed her, you know, and she's beautiful. But I'm not really big on the glitter pops, especially those ones that are woven into the plastic. So I only got a few of them, and I'm good with that. I got her, Cinderella, and Tiana. And the only reason I got Tiana was because I want to replace her with the glitter version of Tiana, which the only reason I got that one is because I can never find the other original Princess Tiana in the original Princess 200 line because she's so freaking expensive. And the glitter one is just stupid because what's glittered? The freaking frog is glittered. Like, who glitters a frog? You know, it's dumb.
Well, anyway, guys.
Stupid. So anyways, that Tiana will now replace the glitter version, and I can sell the glitter version.
Well, guys, we'll see what happens. I mean, the good news is we still seem to be pretty much in Funko support, even though there has to be a lot of negative stuff going on as well. I actually haven't really been focusing on that. I've been focusing on so many other things. But I think this is where we're going to wrap it up, because the truth of the matter is, guys, if we keep going any further, I might as well just give you guys the rest of the night and I'm going to go to sleep. But anyway, this was a great conversation. I'm glad that we were able to revisit this. I have a strange feeling we're going to revisit this again at some point in time, but I don't know when.
I'm sure.
But in the meantime, everybody, thank you guys for watching. We really do appreciate you guys checking us out and chatting with us for a while, and we'll see you in another video. If you enjoyed the video you just watched, feel free to leave a comment. Also, feel free to subscribe if you want to be up to date with our latest videos. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you in the next one. Actions speak louder than words.